It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
We have a guy that we think a lot of, but here's the thing you hear. Credit cards should never be used.
Yeah, and just like I said, that whole telephone thing, that's true for some people. For some people, that's true. If you can't use it responsibly, I hear you say this all the time, Brian. A credit card is like a knife. Yep. It's a tool. If it's used incorrectly, it can hurt you, but very correctly, it's very useful.
I've updated that.
Ooh.
Based upon one of the emails we recently received.
Did I not see that email?
Well, you'll understand it when I tell you this statement. I look at credit cards like a chainsaw.
Okay, just like a really fancy knife.
Did you not see that email we got from a listener?
Oh, that email.
Yeah. We had do not send any more gross emails, by the way. But we had a listener. I have a hare that has decided he's going to go for a ride and hang out right near my eye. So if you see me, it's not that I'm trying to throw this mane of hair around. It's that I really am trying to get a hair out of my eye.
I was like,
no, this thing is driving me crazy.
Turn into McConaughey.
I do look at credit card debt as a useful tool, but an extremely dangerous tool. And I've always used the analogy of a knife.
Yep.
But I do think there is something about saying that it's more like probably a chainsaw, because a knife, look, a knife, you slip, you get a scar like I've got.
Okay.
You slip with a chainsaw, you get a nub.
That email that we got.
So this is the thing. That's why I think debt is dangerous enough that you have to look at it. If you are using it and you're not scared of it, you're doing it completely wrong.
Yep.
And that's something I always tell people, because I do think so. Let's talk about what's the better way to think about credit card use. Credit card use is the opposite of compounding interest. If you think about in terms of that, the average interest rate on your credit card is 17% right now. The national average is 17.3%. So because of that, you guys have blown up my inboxes and comments on YouTube saying, guys, where do you get 10% rates of returns? Well, if you think that's crazy, 17.3% with credit card companies. Because it's so punitive, never, ever, ever should you have credit card debt. Debt. You should not carry a balance. If you're carrying a balance, I think you have to go the teetotal route and not have any credit card debt whatsoever. Okay. I do think if you're a person that pays it off every month and you understand how valuable just the convenience of not having to go to the bank and use an ATM a bunch. If you also, I'm one of these people, I actually think that when I have cash in my pocket, I spend more. I know the argument is that when you use credit cards, you actually spend more than if you have cash.
Because tactily, you don't feel like it.
I usually don't have cash in my pocket. Now, if we have end of times, I'm not the guy you're going to come borrow $10 off of, because I don't have it. But it's one of those things that I just don't. I think I'm already disciplined enough. I don't know that I buy into that I spend more with a credit card than cash. But I get thousands back every year from my cash rewards. I also like the purchase protection, the extended warranties. When I travel insurance and other things that come from, there are benefits. So make sure if you're at least going to use credit cards and use them responsibly, maximize those benefits without spending more. That's the key thing. I want you to be disciplined and know what you're dealing with.
I think you said be purposeful, right?
Exactly.
Because one of the things that I hear all the time, and I think this is just worth mentioning, is someone says, okay, well, if you like the convenience factor and you like that, don't use a credit card, just use a debit card. That way you're never spending money that you don't have. Well, even that inherently has its problems, because now, and we've done shows on this before. If you have an issue with your credit card where somebody gets a hold of that and has a fraudulent charge, I think that you're exposed to maybe like $50.
They never make you pay that.
They never make you pay that. If someone actually gets your debit card and gets access to your bank account, is able to swipe, it might be a lot harder to get that money back.
We actually had a case study here, somebody here in the office, that the bank was going to make them whole, but they told them it was going to have some turnaround time. That is the big difference between debit cards and credit cards. Credit cards, it's OPM, other people's money.
Yep.
With your debit card, they're using your money. So if there is fraud or hacking or anything like that, you probably have a chance of getting made whole. It's just going to take a little bit of time to do it.